How have we gone the entire show, Morgan Streetman? We haven't really talked about President Biden.
Oh, President Biden, this is your president, folks. This is your president. Well, he's got another one of those great harebrained ideas that he loves to come out with. And believe me, I don't think Biden's coming up with any of these ideas. I think he has his daily or every 2-day conference call with former President Obama, and Obama's putting all these ideas in his head. That's what I think's going on. Biden's not smart enough to do this, to be this intentionally destructive of our entire social and civic society, which is exactly what they're trying to do. I mean, everything from talking about packing the Supreme Court, and they've now appointed a commission. Remember how he wouldn't answer that before the election, whether or not he was going to try to do that. And we told you by not answering, he is answering. Because if he wasn't going to do it, he'd just say, absolutely not, we're not going to pack the Supreme Court. But no, he says, I've got to think about that. Well, now they've appointed a commission to think about it. What do you think they're going to conclude? I mean, can you guess? Can you guess what this commission is going to decide? Probably going to decide we need 36 justices. But here, that isn't what we wanted to talk about, because here's the brilliant idea that we wanted to talk about now. Quickly on the heels of New York State deciding to pay almost $16,000 per person to non-legal, non-citizens living in the state of New York, almost $16,000 each. I mean, what about for U.S. citizens? What about for people who actually pay the taxes? What do those people get? Nothing. You get nothing. What about the veterans, the homeless vet? You get nothing. Nothing. Oh, okay. Well, thanks a lot. Now Biden is saying he wants to look into, and this is what I mean. They always looking into it means they're going to do it, right?
Here you go again.
They're going to do it. They want to make direct cash payments to people living in Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, direct cash payments to get them to stay home. To get them to stay home. Are you kidding me? No, you can't be this stupid. That's what I'm saying. This is not just bumbling Biden. This is intentional sabotage of our country. They're going to make direct cash payments to people living in Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala to stay home. And how are you going to enforce that? You're going to make them pinky swear to stay home?
How are you going to get them the money?
Or just fly the helicopter, fly the planes over there and just start dumping money out the back of the plane, right? And what do you think they'll do with that money? You think they might fund their trip northward to the U.S. southern border with the money that we send them?
I got the money now.
But wait a minute. You pinky swore that you wouldn't come here after I gave you that money. You pinky swore. And now you're breaking that pinky swear, and you can't do that. Right? I mean, how stupid are these people? They're not stupid. You can't be this stupid. This is intentional. This is sabotaging our country. This is destroying our economy. I mean, this boils the blood, folks. I can't believe. I mean, we cannot afford our own existing debt. And we got one story to wrap this up at the very end with. But before I get to that, because this is part and parcel of that story we just told you, and that is the Biden infrastructure bill, right? The infrastructure bill that's not actually infrastructure, right? It's like a $2.1 trillion infrastructure bill, $2.25 trillion infrastructure bill, of which only at the most about 10 to 15% is actual infrastructure. Things that you would call infrastructure, you know, roads, bridges, railways, airports, waterways, ports, things like that. That's infrastructure, right? No, according to the Democrats, things like in-home care for the elderly and those with disability, or money for research and development at HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, money for research and development, that's infrastructure. And it's just like the stimulus bill where they were giving money away to like Pakistan for gender studies. You know, billions of dollars they were just giving away all around the world, maybe even trillions of dollars. And the only stimulus, quote unquote, which the government can never stimulate the economy, but the only money that could be identified with stimulus was that about $400 billion in payments at $1,400 a person to U.S. citizens. Everything else was waste, fraud, and graft, which is what government excels at. It absolutely excels at it. But just to follow the narrative here, we've now got Kirsten Gillibrand, the senator from New York, remember, and here's her tweet from April 7th. And listen to this. It says, paid leave is infrastructure. Child care is infrastructure. Caregiving is infrastructure. I mean, do words even mean anything anymore? I mean, infrastructure is infrastructure. Roads, bridges, railways, ports, airports, that's infrastructure. Child care is not infrastructure, no matter how many times you want to say it is infrastructure. Giving money for research to colleges, that's not infrastructure. Giving money to all kinds of social programs, trying to reorder the social nature of this country and turn this into a completely communist and socialist country is not investing in infrastructure, but nobody challenges them on this. The media doesn't challenge. The media trumpets this stuff. They say, yes, child care is infrastructure. This is it's just we're investing in people. Infrastructure just means investment, and we're investing in people. No, you're destroying our country. You're destroying everything it means to be an American. You're destroying the concept of personal responsibility in our country, and that we're not to receive our income and our funding directly from the government. That's not supposed to be how we live. We're supposed to make our own way with our own businesses and our own employment and our own private efforts. That's how we're supposed to make a living in this country. But everything's switching, and it's becoming all about the government dole. And what's the result of this? I mean, the debt is skyrocketing. If we haven't crossed the Rubicon yet, I mean, we're about to hit $30 trillion. We were just at $20 trillion just a couple of years ago. We're now at almost $30 trillion in our U.S. debt currently, and I'm sure this is probably old news even now, but currently it's over $85,000 for every man, woman, and child in this country.
And I think it's important to remind people who's responsible for that debt. In other words, who's responsible for making the decisions to accumulate it, because you're really only talking about less than how many people when you look at our representatives.
Yeah.
That's who's done that to us.
Right, the 435 members of Congress, the 100 senators, and, of course, the tens and hundreds of thousands of people that work in the bureaucracies that run so much of our law through administrative law now. But all these people have run this debt up. They've lived in a way that you and I can't live, and we wouldn't want to live. Who wants to be so fiscally irresponsible to run up a debt like that? $85,000 per person. That's $360,000 per family. And if you cut it to just families that actually pay taxes, which is less than half now, double that 360 number, and you're at $720,000 per family of four of taxpayers in this country. That's what you've got to pay off. Now, what could you buy with $720,000? They're destroying this country, and they love it. They're laughing about it. Guys like Hunter Biden, they're living it up. Crackheads like Hunter Biden and you know, the rest of the Biden family, they've got mansions, they fly private, they do whatever they want to do. They live the good life, while you and me working people, we're saddled with all this crazy debt, and it's absolutely going to destroy our country. I don't know if there's any way to get out of it at this point. It's a very sad story. I'm Morgan Streetman, and that's the way I see it. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.